The Raiders on the road in Houston. Can Max Crosby and company spoil the Texans' playoff hopes? Raiders insider Paul Gutierrez breaks it down. Plus, the keys to facing Houston's #1 defense. NFL reporter Aaron Wilson joins the show. And we sit down with Raiders defensive tackle Jonah Laulu. The Silver and Black Show starts now. Welcome into the Silver and Black Show, everybody. I'm Amber Theoharis. Max Crosby said it best, 17 games. That's what we're guaranteed, and each one is an opportunity to compete. Yes, nobody thought the Raiders would have 2 wins going into Week 16, but here we are. And the players in that locker room, they are playing for their future. So make no mistake, how they show up when their team is already eliminated from the playoffs will tell us in the front office a lot about who deserves to be a Raider in 2026. And what better way to prove your worth than to ball out against a Texans team that is fighting for the division? To break down the matchup, we say hello to Texans reporter Aaron Wilson. And Aaron, it is good to see you. Like, people don't know, we go way back in Baltimore. You're now covering the Houston Texans. But I wanted to ask you, the Raiders are on pace for their worst season since 2006. And just from an outside looking in, from kind of a national perspective, what has gone wrong for the Raiders this season?
It's been a real calamity of combination of things where you've got change at offensive coordinator, a change at special teams, and then you've had injuries at the quarterback position. And Gino, regardless of why, hasn't played as well as he did with Seattle. So kind of a combination of factors. And then Brock Bowers' rookie season, obviously people will game plan for him after the epic year he had last year. And I think that it's kind of a combination of factors and hopefully better days ahead for a proud franchise in Las Vegas. But obviously some work to be done on the roster. Trading Jacoby Myers, requires some good draft capital. It was a good trade in terms of the value that the Raiders acquired, but creates a hole at receiver. Just a very, very strong football player, and I covered his first game playing for the Jaguars. And I just look at it overall, Amber, and I believe, they're a team that they've just got to be very, very, honest with themselves as they look in the mirror and as they try to retool in the offseason. John Spytek's a smart guy. Mark Davis, they've got some capable people, but it's going to take a really hard look at this roster.
And then on the other side, you cover the Texans. You've been there for several years, so you saw the transformation from a team that was struggling and a team that now has won 6 in a row. What was responsible for that change?
The 0-3 start was really defined by a lot of problems with the players trying to pick up on the New England system that Nick Caley installed, and they lost a lot of close football games. The defense, which is top ranked in points and yards, they were playing fine. There was some few missteps, including some missed tackles against Tampa Bay that cost them. I didn't think C.J. Stroud looked very comfortable at the beginning of the season. And during this 6-game run, first with Davis Mills when C.J. was out with a concussion, and now with C.J. picking up the football, starting to hit stride again, starting to look a little bit like the C.J. of old from his rookie year just a couple years ago when he was the Offensive Rookie of the Year, it's starting to click. And him and Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, they're really in a groove. And they don't have much of a running game, but they've gotten, some decent running from Woody Marks. And in this last game, a breakout performance by Jawar Jordan. And I thought that was pretty cool to see a guy from the practice squad run for 101 yards.
Yeah, seeing the rookie Jordan have a big game, that's tough for the Raiders, who have given up a lot of rushing yards in their past couple of games. But I kind of want to focus on what the Texans are doing so well. You mentioned the #1 defense. Danielle Hunter, you have Will Anderson Jr., who's still a young guy out there. They really are going to be a problem. How can the Raiders offense, especially the offensive line that has struggled, they've given up more sacks, 54 sacks than anybody in the NFL. How can they try to limit what these pass rushers can do?
Well, Arizona did something without Paris Johnson that worked, Amber. They chip blocked on Will Anderson Jr., and then Trey McBride had a monster day with 12 catches and a couple of touchdowns. I think that could be a little bit of a formula, but it's hard to block both guys. Maybe you get Will Anderson Jr. blocked, but you don't get Danielle Hunter blocked. That's where the bulk of the pass rush comes from, and these guys are both Pro Bowl rushers, and At one point people were talking about Will, maybe getting a couple of votes for NFL Defensive Player of the Year, but I don't think he'll win it now. But he's definitely a lot of trouble off the edge. One thing with both of them, they're fast and they're pretty disciplined rushers. They're not, just playing hero ball out there. These guys take a really direct path to the quarterback, not a lot of spin moves, just a lot of handwork and quick spins sometimes and bull rush and power. I feel like these guys, it's probably the best tandem in the NFL. And they're pretty basic. They don't blitz much. They run a 4-3. You know what's coming. They put their hand down in the three-point stance, and they're coming off the edge. It's nothing like to really figure out. It's more just, can you, line up and block these guys and get them slowed down? And some teams have done that. We've been surprised, like the Chiefs, with a depleted offensive line 2 weeks ago, slowed down these guys. I know they're itching to get on track, and hopefully for your Raiders, that doesn't happen on Sunday, but it feels like they're a little bit due for a big game, Will and Daniil.
Yeah, Greg Olsen, though, I'm sure is watching those games against the Chiefs, like you said. But the pass rush has been so good, and it's creating opportunities for that Texans secondary. You just kind of listed some weaknesses in the pass rush. Are there any weaknesses in that secondary that the Raiders receivers, especially a guy, I include Brock Bowers in that, their best receiver, really, that can exploit?
Right, yeah, you have a all-pro corner in Derek Stingley Jr. You had Kamari Lassiter not far behind him in terms of coverage. These guys are elite, and they don't allow a lot of touchdowns. They've had a very strong year overall, picking off passes. They have 3 guys with 4 interceptions apiece. Kamari Lassiter is one of them, and also Kalen Bullock and Jalen Petrie. So it's tough. People have kind of stopped throwing at Sting. It's gotten to a point now where they're not even testing Derek Stingley Jr.
Well, look, I mean, you mentioned, Will Anderson, you mentioned Derek Stingley Jr. It just shows the importance of drafting well, right? These guys have all been drafted in the last couple of years, and Houston has really hit on them. And even though the Raiders have hit on guys like Brock Bowers, you really look to this next draft for them to begin to improve. Sticking with this game, though, you already mentioned what the offense is doing so well, and with C.J. Stroud coming along, I mean, they're scoring 25 points a game in their 6-game win streak. How can this defense begin to slow them down? Where does it start? Does it start with, do you think we're going to see a lot of carries from the rookie because of his great game that he had?
Yeah, they're going to probably split time. Right now, it's just been Nick Chubb and Jawar Jordan because Woody Marks, the rookie running back from USC, he sprained his ankle again. So he didn't practice today, which is Thursday. He didn't practice the first day as well. So we'll see at the end of the week if they put him out there for Sunday. And Jawar Jordan is expected to have a role. I don't think it'll be the 15 carries that he had last game, but they promoted him to the 53-man roster. How about that? You play a good game and you get signed to the active roster from the practice squad.
That's how this league works. Last one. I want you to put your coaching hat on right now. If you are game planning as the Raiders head coach, so you're Pete Carroll, okay? What is the one matchup that you think you can win this week that you're going to attack?
If I'm Pete, I'm going after the Texans with Brock Bowers using the Trey McBride Arizona game as a blueprint because they were really vulnerable. They didn't have any answers with linebackers or safeties and nickel against Trey McBride, who's obviously a great football player, and so is Brock Bowers. But I would try to make this kind of a signature Brock Bowers game, even knowing that the Texans have the knowledge that that's what you're probably going to do. Play your best guy. I don't see Ashton Genty really be able to dent these guys that much, even though he's really a good running back. It's just hard to run on them because of the size and the speed and the way they defeat blocks. But yeah, Amber, I would make it a Brock Bowers big game. And if I'm fantasy football, make sure that you're starting Brock Bowers. That's my little fantasy advice.
Yeah, he's on 2 of my teams, so I always do, and I'm in the playoffs on both teams. So, all right, good to catch up with you, Aaron. Happy holidays to you and your family.
Happy holidays. Thank you so much.
Coming up, Raiders insider Paul Gutierrez tells us the one thing the Raiders must do if they're going to upset the Texans.
What's up, Raider Nation? Did you know that Mark Davis created the modern quarterback hand warmer? In 1986, the Raiders owner came up with the idea of combining the fleece line hand warmers with heat packs. Well, it all started when Hall of Fame receiver Cliff Branch tweaked his hamstring on a 99-yard touchdown run, and Davis, his friend and one-time agent, searched for homeopathic treatments, ultimately finding a garlic extract in Japan that worked out the clip.
They showed me these little heat packs.
Oh, wow.
And, as for all the years as I was a water boy, we were always looking for things to keep your hands warm.
Davis worked out a distributorship deal and brought the packs back to the U.S. to equipment manager shows and athletic trainer shows where many were impressed because on the NFL sidelines before that, guys were literally warming their hands over buckets of burning coal. But he still needed something to hold the heat packs in so that equipment teams didn't have to sew pockets into jerseys. Well, he experimented with the fleece from the Raiders' old silver sideline capes. He figured out that 2 layers trapped the heat inside better than 1, adding the pocket for the heat pack and a tearaway belt, and boom, the first prototype that we now call the Muff.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada,
The Silver and Black Show is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. Victory Live, connecting the world of live experiences. And by 1800 Tequila, official partner of the Raiders. Taste is everything. Please drink responsibly. Welcome back to the Silver and Black Show as the Raiders get ready to take on the Texans here in Week 16. We catch up with our good friend, Raiders columnist Paul Gutierrez, who is entrenched in everything Raiders, and you always have all the answers. And if you don't, you act like you do, and that's why we love having you on. I'm sure your wife would attest to that one.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about a great column that you had. You wrote about, before we even talk about this game, because I like these things, right? You talked about Mark Davis and him inventing, I didn't know this, that he invented the hand warmers that the modern quarterbacks use. So take me through what was in that article and how that came about.
Yeah, it was a fun article to write, Amber. It's called basically we dove into the lore of the muff, and it's the hand warmers that quarterbacks use on the field, position players, skilled players, anybody that really relies on their hands to stay warm during a game. And if you think back to like when we were kids, and you remember, I just in my mind's eye I see this picture of Jim Kelly, of Tim Brown, guys like that always had that. It looked like a fanny pack on the front of their waist, and they stick their hands in it. So what it was Mark Davis had this idea that he wanted to create something that had already existed, the muff, but he combined the muff, the hand warmer, with the heat packs that you see everywhere now, but in the mid 1980s, they really weren't anywhere. And it's just a standard piece of NFL equipment these days. And as soon as the calendar turns and it starts getting cold in these cold weather cities, especially, you see them everywhere. So Bob Romanski in the NFL in the Raiders actually equipment department, he brought one up to me and let me see it, and I was able to kind of check it out. And Yeah, it's a very, very cool situation. And the fact that he created them and a lot of the guys on the Raiders use them, their minds were blown. They had no idea that the guy that owns the team they play for also created this back in 1986.
I had no idea whatsoever, so that's a pretty cool story. Let's talk about this matchup with the Houston Texans. Like, Houston is completely opposite of the Raiders. They're coming in, they're still in the fight for the playoffs, 6-game win streak. Meanwhile, we know where the Raiders are with just 2 wins. What's the first thing you're going to be looking for in this matchup that will make you say, hey, maybe this could be an upset today?
Well, if the Raiders' offensive line can hold that fearsome pass rush at bay, that's going to be the number one thing. And we didn't see that at all in Philadelphia, right? The Raiders only had 75 yards of total offense against the Eagles. So if the offensive line can hold its own and give Geno Smith, who's more than likely going to be the starting quarterback against the Texans, some time to at least look downfield instead of drop back and have somebody in his lap, and if he doesn't have somebody on his back, that's going to be the number one key. But I look for that every single game anyway. So especially though with that Texans defense is really rounding into shape right now and really kind of just being devastating to opposing offenses. That right there is going to be the number one thing. But again, it's all about the offensive line. To me, games are won and lost in the trenches. And for the Raiders on this 8-game losing streak, you don't need to look any further than right there.
And Paul, they just need to hold on to the ball. They need to sustain drives because it has been a major issue over the past 2 games. The time of possession battle has been so lopsided. How exactly do they sustain drives? Not just the offensive line. I mean, what should the game plan be there?
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to being able to force your own will on the other team, and that's running the ball. They haven't really been able to do that. We saw some flashes of it probably towards the end of the first quarter of the season with Ashton Genty being able to do some things and get him in space and let him create. It's making those third downs more manageable. And by doing that, you get some chunk yardage on first down, second down. You don't become so predictable where it's 3rd and 7. Oh, well, they're going to pass, they're going to pass. So the opposing defense can just pin their ears back and go for it. So that to me is that's how you sustain those drives is getting some success on first down, getting success on second, making those third downs more manageable. That way you can actually run the ball and you can hold on to the ball. I mean, you're right. I mean, the past 2 games, the Broncos and the Eagles have both held onto the ball for more than 39 minutes. There's no way that a defense can hold up to that. It's nutty. So if you can't do anything with that, then check out. Good night.
Yeah, you're not going to compete when the other team has the ball for 20 more minutes. It's almost impossible. So, but on the other side, the Raiders are dead last on third down defense. Remember last week, 10 for 13 Philadelphia was on third down. So how do they get off the field? I feel like they were doing better with that earlier in the season.
Yeah, and it's the yin and the yang of the whole thing, right? It's the complementary football aspect of it. If it's pass rush helping pass coverage, it's coverage helping the rush, it's the offense helping the defense. The way that the defense can get off the field is simply, this is going to sound crazy, by getting off the field. That's how you're going to give yourself some time to rest on the sidelines, and the offense is going to help them by maintaining possession of the ball. They're not going to be so tired at the end of the game. What was weird is these past 2 weeks. Earlier in the season, you could literally put the blame on the offense and say, well, they're not giving the defense any time, any breaks. They're on the field so much. Now it's kind of turned into the defense just simply can't get off the field. And I know that's counterintuitive, or it sounds, well, yeah, Captain Obvious, but that's literally what's happening is the opposing offenses then are making those third down possessions so much shorter. Instead of 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, they're 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. And if you're in Philadelphia, you know exactly what's coming, the tush push. So then you're just going, okay, well, they got a first down. You just kind of go from there. In Houston, if you make that offense, make them work a little bit more and affect the quarterback, that's kind of what that's going to be the solution, so to speak. But that's nothing new. That's been something that they've been trying to do all season long.
Yeah, it's hard to defend and be on the field for 40 minutes out of a game. You're going to get tired and you're going to break eventually. Evaluating this roster, they got 3 games left. What is the importance? We keep saying they want to see the young guys, and we're seeing that. We're seeing guys like Jack Besh. It's been fun to kind of see what he can do, and there's definitely some upside there. But what about these under contract guys that are like 1-year contracts? I mean, who of them will really be getting a look right now?
Yeah, see, and that's always the it's a very thin line. It's a delicate dance of wanting to see these young guys that you drafted to see how they react when it's real, and the guys that are on the 1-year contracts that are the veterans, especially when you look at the linebacker group. whether that's E-Rob, Landon Roberts, or Devin White, who is having a massive season when it comes to tackles, maybe not so much on the missed tackles aspect of it, but he's out there and he's flying around. He's always flashing. So those are the guys that you're trying to filter in, and you're still trying to win games. And really, at the end of the day, who is going to be the shot caller going into this offseason, making these roster decisions? And I guess maybe you can kind of get a sense of it in these last 3 games, because I've asked guys in the locker room this week and at the podiums, what is the goal these last 3 games? And from a player's perspective, they want to put out the best tape that they possibly can, because not only are they auditioning for a job to stay with the Raiders, they're putting out tape for a job for somebody for one of 31 other teams in the NFL next year. And they also want to keep playing and putting the best foot forward and to win. I asked Geno Smith on Wednesday exactly what was the goal. He said, to win games. Okay, well, you could have said that back in training camp. That remains the same. So that's kind of a positive, I guess.
To me, the goal should be to show what I'm made of and how much I still want it and how hungry I still am when there's nothing to gain in the win column right now, because that shows what you're made of. I think of Miami the other night, where at the very end, it was like they didn't even want to be on the field. It's like they didn't even care. Yeah. And when you see that, you really learn a lot about who belongs, not just on this roster, but like you said, in the NFL. So they do have something to show. That's for sure. It's character, it's grit, it's all those things. Let's talk about just the tone of this game. The Raiders have not been able to dictate the tone. It just seems like early on, the other team has been getting out ahead, and then the Raiders have not been on the offensive when it comes to setting the tone. How can they do that early in this game?
By being more creative on offense, by showing some different things on defense, showing some blitzes, taking command of the game. And this is one of those things where I've talked to players throughout the years and covering this team for 20 plus years now. Is, Al Davis used to always say this, and I know it's a saying, right? But it's nice when you take what the defense gives you. Well, he always said, and he preached, that's nice, but I want to take what I want. So from a defensive perspective, also offensively, if you're able to impose that will, then that's half of the game plan right there. So if you're able to do something like that, and offensively especially, you've got to be more creative. You've got to get those chunk plays early on. You've got to get Ashton Genty out in space. You got to take advantage of any mismatch you have with Brock Bowers running across the middle of the field. But none of that matters, though, Amber. Again, if the quarterback, whether it's Geno Smith, Jim Plunkett, Rich Gannon, whoever it is, if they have no time to look down the field and deliver the ball, it doesn't matter. So, it's a simple question. We could have had the same exact conversation after week 1 when they actually did these things in New England to get that win.
Paul Gutierrez, have a Merry Christmas with you and your family, and I'll see you out there on Sunday getting ready for the holidays. Thanks for being here.
Will do. Same to you, Amber.
All right, coming up, Raiders defensive tackle Jonah Laulu stops by next on the Silver and Black Show.
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
How about totally obsessed? We created a cocktail that requires 7 unique ingredients. The most important one, 1800 tequila. Just as obsessed with taste and quality as we are. The world's most awarded tequila, proudly poured at the world's best bar.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
And they're passing again on first down. Herbert's hopping in the pocket. Laulu hits him from behind, pushes him back into the pocket, and Laulu has a sack of a loss of 3. They back out. They bring just 4. Ward, pressure up the middle. It's by Laulu, and he wraps him up again. Jonah Laulu drops him at the 34. Pressure through the middle, and the Las Vegas native with a dance on a 9-yard sack.
We're going to find out what that dance is for sure. Sitting here with Raiders defensive tackle Jonah Laulu. And what is that? I think you've described it to me before. I'm not cool. I don't know the dance.
I seen it on Instagram, and then I just thought it was hilarious. So then I wanted to do it.
You even laughed at yourself watching the video.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because it's a really goofy dance. And I've seen it on Instagram and been practicing it since last year. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
see, we need to get a camera on the practices of these dances someday. Local guy, right? So you don't have to go far for Christmas. That's pretty awesome. Your family's all right here. Centennial High School in Las Vegas, and then you go to Hawaii, you go to Oklahoma. How did each of those steps on this journey kind of shape you?
I mean, coming out of high school, went to Hawaii, was a great experience. Met a lot of wonderful people there. Helped shape me into the person I am, and transferred to Oklahoma, which was also another great experience. Really college town. So going from like Vegas, crazy city, going to island time, and Hawaii is like a different country, just so laid back, and just all the people there, the community is just way different than anything I've ever experienced. And like the brotherhood that we had, because everybody was far from home at Hawaii, and so we were just much more tighter, because you couldn't just go home on the week, like a 4-day weekend. You couldn't just drive home or fly home really quick, because that's like a 6-hour flight minimum wherever you're trying to go.
Yeah.
Like if you're in California, 6 hours. But everybody was, we were really tight. And then when I went to Oklahoma, it was like college town. It was cold there to me, because I came from Vegas, the desert. Went to Hawaii, the island. It's tropical year round, 70s. That's when it's cold. It's like the 70s, and then went to Oklahoma, and so when I first got there, it was winter, super cold. I didn't really own any jackets.
I was gonna say, did you buy your first coat?
Yeah, I had to get. Yeah, like I did not have any jacket. I was not prepared. And
how do you find a coat your size though?
It's pretty. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. And then I had a great time at Oklahoma. Great coaches, great players. People that poured into me, helped refine me, mold me into a better player, and now I'm here.
And then you're drafted by the Colts, and then the Raiders pick you up. How do you take advantage of each opportunity you get? How do you make the most out of it?
Just by controlling what you can control, which is your effort and your attitude. Some people in this profession, they have a sense of entitlement or whatever, or they're not coachable, and I think those are things that you can control that will benefit you or, be your demise. But I think, just coming in with an attitude of wanting to get better. I mean, that was my thing when I went to Oklahoma. I wanted to get better. That's why I transferred there in the first place, because I wanted to get better. I wanted to, get to the NFL, and I'll do anything I could to, be able to get here and accomplish, my goals that I set for myself. And then once I got to the NFL, was just picking the brains of veterans, seeing what they do, like little routine.
Who'd you watch?
Well, when I was with the Colts, I had DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, like Dio, Kwity Paye, a bunch of older guys, Tyquan Lewis. And I was just, seeing everybody had like their routine. I think that was the biggest thing I noticed, was everybody had like a routine that they stayed on, what time they got to the building, what they did when they got to the building, whether it was stretching, getting the sauna, tubs, something to, get your body ready for the day. And I think that was the biggest thing, is I was just seeing what people did and seeing what I could take from them and to apply to myself. And I think that's what I kind of did. I'm still getting a routine going for myself. Still, trying to figure things out. Still early for me, even though, I don't know. Even though I'm only in my second year, sometimes I forget that I'm like in my second year, like, because I hold myself to a really high, like I'm really tough on myself, and so I hold myself to a really high standard, and I forget that I'm still young, and I still have to develop, and I don't know. I just But yeah, I took some stuff and then came here. Max obviously is a good person to watch and see. I mean, he has a really strict routine that he has, and Adam Butler, I had John Jenkins, a bunch of guys here that I could look up to and that had a lot of wisdom that I can learn. And obviously I'm not going to just copy what they can do. I think that's a big problem. A lot of people do is they see what these all-star pro athletes are doing and they try to just copy exactly what they do, when that's not really realistic, because you want to do things that help your body or help you mentally, because you're not going to, everybody's not the same. You're not going to be the same mentally as somebody else, and especially physically. So I just took what I could take, little things, mentality, see how they think of things. I always ask them like what they think in this or in this position, and then I just try to apply it to myself and just see how I can get better.
Well, being a sponge is working out because
Yeah.
you're having a great second year. What would you say is the biggest area of growth from year 1 to year 2?
Mentally, I think football is a really physical sport, but it's also very mental as well. Just from, you could be the strongest person in the weight room or whatever, but it won't always translate to the field. It's the biggest thing, I think, in the NFL is just knowing things, whether it's what the offense is about to do, or how they're trying to block you, or vice versa if you're on offense, knowing what the defense is trying to do, how they're trying to attack you. And just I think that mental gap is what separates a lot of people from being all pros or just average players. And I think what really changed for me this year was my mentality, just being more comfortable, not being as worried of messing, because in your rookie year you're really out there trying not to mess up. Like, that's what you're out there doing. Like, I was trying not to mess up. I'm just trying to do my job. And I think now this year I'm leaning more towards, making plays. Like, okay, make a play. I'm not worried about messing up, because obviously you're not going to be, nobody plays a perfect football game. It's not realistic. You're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. And it's just being able to, make a mistake and then next play. I mean, that's really all football is. That's really what a lot of sports are. It's just, you're going to make a mistake and then, okay, what do I got to do next? Or if you make a play, okay, got to keep going. What's
The
next?
mental aspect is underrated.
Yeah,
people
no, for
people
sure.
don't understand just being resilient like that and being able to move on and accept, like you said, that I'm a second-year player, that I'm going to make mistakes, but still holding yourself to a high level. But now you got to face the Texans. And they're a team that has been playing really well, 6 straight wins. When you look at this offense on film, what are they doing well up front?
I mean, they work really good in the run game together, whether it's their combinations and then, a good quarterback who can make, good reads. Obviously, he's still young. And then they have, good receivers. Nico Collins, he's having a great year. And I mean, obviously they're good in the run game with their, working together, and then, can switch it up in the pass or, hit you with a play action. And so, obviously they have their weapons, and we gotta, try to take those away from them.
They have they're top 6 in the NFL when it comes to converting on third down, and you guys struggled last week against Philadelphia on third down. How much have you been focusing on getting them off the field in practice this week?
Well, with the Texans, how they are is they don't really like to get the third down as far as their offense. Like, they're they make a lot of chunk plays, and so we have to just be able to get them on third and longer. We can't keep having these third and short situations, which is where they'll convert, whether we don't know if they're running pass or running the ball or passing the ball. And we got to put them, more predictable situations so that we can, take away what they're going to do.
What's the number one thing the defense needs to do early in this game to set the tone?
Oh, we have to come out and stop the run and, have, whether it's TFLs, tackle for loss, or 1 yard, 2 yard gains. And then second and long, stopping whether it's a pass or another run, keeping it so where it's third and long, and then, we can go out there and rush the passer and, make plays.
Last one. Over the next 3 weeks, you have 3 games left. What does success look like for this defense over the last 3 games? And besides obviously winning, that's successful, but deeper than that, what do you want to take away from these 3 games?
I think for these last 3 games, we need to get back to the basics and just everybody doing their job, fitting where they need to fit, and just, going out there and dominating somebody. Because, I mean, at this point, we've seen everything that offenses can do. We've seen, all the same plays, and at this point, they're, doing the same plays. And so now at this point, it's just going out there and being your one-on-one and, just knocking people back and making plays, disrupting.
You've been so much fun to watch this year, by the way. So I can't wait to see you out there these last 3 games. And I'm sorry, he told us off camera, you know, all your family's on your Amazon account, so Christmas gets complicated. Yeah. And did they buy your presents on your Amazon account?
I didn't look, but probably. I'm not. I'll be honest.
All right, we're gonna have to talk to everybody on the Laulu family. Yeah.
I had to remove my card.
We're gonna work on that.
Right? Purchases were being made.
All right, coming up, what Raider Nation can learn by watching the Texans this Sunday. It's One Last Thing next.
From the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada,
Every year, millions fly with us at Allegiant because together, we go places. We see old friends and try new things. We laugh. We really like to laugh. And reconnect. We remember. And we wander, which leads to wonder. From how we go to where we go to what we do when we get there, we go further together.
At Cox, we're always a step ahead. There you go. I'll show you. Like, before your basement became Movie Central, we made sure you'd have strong Wi-Fi, even down here. And you can rest easy knowing the price of your plan won't go up for 3 years. Guaranteed. See? He's looking out for you, and so are we, with advanced security that blocks threats on your network. Good boy. Whatever the future brings, Cox will keep you a step ahead. Oh.
The Silver and Black Show has been brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Las Vegas Raiders. Allegiant, the official airline of the Raiders. Low fares, nonstop flights, only at Allegiant.com. And by Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Las Vegas Raiders and the NFL. Time now for one last thing. The 2025 NFL season is all about parity, and that should give Raider Nation some hope. The Texans are just one example of how quickly a franchise can turn things around. Back in 2022, they had just 3 wins. Then they get a dynamic young coach in DeMeco Ryans and a first-round quarterback in C.J. Stroud. And just like that, they're a 10-win team every year since. Well, this year, the Bears, Patriots, Broncos, Jags, and even the Panthers have become contenders using the exact same formula. Check this out. 3 teams have improved their 2024 win total by 5 wins or more already this year with 3 games to go. All have first-year head coaches, and no one has shocked the NFL more than the Patriots with Mike Vrabel.
I think they're the best team in the AFC. My reason why, number one, they got the MVP of the NFL right now. I think Drake, with, again, the value of the way that he's playing and given kind of the supporting cast that he has, which is a good supporting cast, but with the result or production, you sit there and say, man, that guy is maximizing right now. So that, I think, 2, obviously, as well coached as anybody in football.
Kind of like the Bears, look at them. They're one of 3 possible worst to first teams this year, along with the Patriots and the 49ers. 3, that never happens. What's working for them? A dynamic young coach in Ben Johnson and the progression of second-year first-round quarterback Caleb Williams.
Is Ben Johnson the best hire since Sean McVay in LA? I mean, Sean McVay turned around a complete S show in 1 year. Jared Goff looked like a bust. And then it was all of a sudden, his career not only blossomed, but exploded. I'm watching the weekly improvement of Caleb Williams. This defense isn't as good. I mean, they give up yards per play. It's not as good as the results. I don't know. I think Ben Johnson is on a short list in the last 5 to 10 years of best hires.
You know who else was a good hire? Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. Also in year one, his team's now fighting for the AFC South. And Trevor Lawrence, his former first-round quarterback, is having a career year. So do you see a pattern here? The question now is, can the Raiders do the same thing with the same blueprint? And the answer, of course, is yes, but it starts with leadership, accountability, and a clear organizational vision. That'll do it for us. It's Raiders-Texans from NRG Stadium. Kickoff is set for 1:25 p.m. Pacific. Have a great weekend, everyone.